In last week's video, I showed you a technique that created some beautiful texture with bubbles, a light dusting of some special chameleon flakes, and UV resin. Well, I promised I'd show you how to incorporate this into acrylic pouring, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So get your notepads and pencils out, and let's get started. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to another video. So I'm going to jump right in here today. You're probably thinking to yourself, this painting looks very familiar. And that is because I did this painting a few weeks ago, and I didn't want to bore you with doing another blowout. So I'm just reminding you, or I should say recapping this video. This is the painting I'm going to be working on once it is dry. So this painting I had done was a Dutch pour using all metallic paints with just water to thin them down. And you're going to see very soon here that it dried perfectly. I know a lot of people asked me to see it dry, so I'm going to show you that. And then I'm going to move on to the next step. So here it is dry. It came out beautiful. And I had this idea for a new technique. So we have our Dutch pours, we have our flip cups, all our different pours, and sometimes, especially with a Dutch pour, you can see the background showing through in certain areas. So, for example, I used black for a background on this painting, and when I blew out the paint, you can see in parts of the petal, there's some black areas that are showing through where no color is over that area of the canvas. And I thought to myself, what if I was able to create a texture in these areas to add interest to this painting? So that is what I'm going to be doing today, and I hope you stick with me because this thing turned out beautiful. I was so happy I came up with this idea, and I really, really hope that you try it. What I'm going to be calling this technique is a prismatic pour. And I will tell you more about that in a few minutes. But first, I want to explain what I'm doing. So nowadays on Amazon, UV resin is very cheap. You can get a kit with a light for $20-25. So I took some of my UV resin and I just put it in the area that I wanted to put my bubble mixture on top of. And then I used my UV light that came with the kit, cured it, and once 60 seconds goes by, you're left with this beautiful texture underneath. Now, my bubble mixture is just Dawn dish soap and water. I just put it in the bowl, I agitate it, and create the foam on the top, and scoop just the foam off of the top and put it on top of the wet UV resin. As you saw, I cured it with the light for 60 seconds, although this is YouTube, so it was only 10 seconds for you. And once you remove it, you're going to see in a few minutes here that beautiful, we'll say, scale or bubble look that it leaves behind. So here I'm just doing another small area where I'm going to put the UV resin down. I'm going to put the bubble foam on top. Use the UV light for 60 seconds and then scoop it away to reveal the beautiful pattern in the leaf. This is extremely easy to do, and over the next few weeks, I'm going to be making some more paintings with different techniques and incorporating this into the painting. So I hope you're subscribed and you have that notification bell on so that you're notified when I release new videos. Another thing this is good for is right here when I'm doing this pattern, when I blew it out, the composition, there's that big blank spot where there was no color. I simply used my imagination to picture what it would have looked like if there was color there. Put some of the UV resin down, put my bubble texture down, and you're going to see, again in a minute, how much this helps. It was just so beautiful. I'm stunned by the colors and the shifting of colors that I'm seeing from using this technique along with those chameleon flakes, which, by the way, I'm going to have a link for a UV resin kit that's inexpensive and the chameleon flakes that are inexpensive on Amazon. I will put that in the description and try to remember to put it in the comments section of the video. So let's take a look at this texture now that I created with the bubbles. You'll see it there. And the cool thing is also, you don't have to use chameleon flakes. You can also use just paint if you want to, just to create a little bit of interest. But here I'm using from Let's Resin their chameleon flakes. This is such a pretty, it goes from copper to gold to green to like a rose gold. It's a beautiful color shifting chameleon flake. So all you have to do is this. You do not need a lot. Look at the tip of my brush. A few flakes only. You want to just put a little bit on the end of your brush and just buff it over the surface, and it will grab to the surface. This stuff is extremely light, so it's easy for it to go airborne. So just be careful. Don't breathe like towards it so that your breath fluffs it out of the jar. Believe me, I've done it. Just move slowly and take your time. Also, another question I got about this technique is finishing this technique. Do not put resin on this painting when it's done. You're going to have to use a spray varnish because the resin will fill in the pattern and you won't be able to see it. The last painting I did not even varnish it or resin, and somebody asked me, will it rub off? And no, it clings really good. I rubbed my hand on it really hard and there was no rub off. So it's permanent on there, but you want your painting to have a little bit of shine. So I would recommend a spray varnish. And another thing I will warn is the flakes, as you can see, do fly through the air when you're brushing. So you want to do it somewhere where it's not going to cause a big mess. Okay, so a few things. I wanted to show you this in the dark. Holy cow. This is stunning. I still haven't finished the back here. I have to go over it with some black paint and just kind of smooth it out. But I'm not going to bore you with that. I wanted to just show you this effect and how you can incorporate it into acrylic pouring. This right here is absolutely stunning. Stunning, stunning, stunning. The only thing I would do differently is this. In the beginning, I told you I wanted to add this texture to the areas in the Dutch pour. When you blow it out, there's always like that blank kind of area in some parts of the petal where you're seeing a lot of the background. So I wanted to add it to there, okay? But then I also wanted to add it to other parts of the Dutch pour too. Like, let's see, I think, so right here. So I just put some of the texture over the colored paint, and you can see the difference between the black area and down here. Like, it's a lot lighter, but it still looks good. It still looks like it fits in. It literally looks like I took rhinestones, like this area right here. It looks like rhinestones that I glued onto the surface. And I just am so happy. Those flakes that I used today, I think I mentioned already, are the ones off Amazon, the Let's Resin Chameleon Flakes, and I will link them in the description. So now you have two places to get them, artistilldeath.com or the Just Resin on Amazon. But man, am I loving this. I can't wait to experiment with it more. Let me get you back out into the light. It really is just a fun, easy way to zhuzh up your acrylic pour, add a little pizzazz to it. And again, I just can't get over the sparkle and the way it looks like there are actual gemstones on this painting. So With that being said, my friend, I'm coming back next week with an even better one. So please make sure to come back. And for those that are subscribed to my channel, please check your notification bell and make sure that it's set to all, because YouTube did an update or something and some people got unsubscribed. Some of the bells were shut off. So just check that out, okay? But coming up next, I have a new soap and I wanted to talk to you about it. So this week I made some cucumber aloe soap, and I wanted to show you the process a little bit because people have questions. First and foremost, if you want to get into soap making, safety is number one. So always goggles, gloves, long sleeves, because you are working with lye. That's this right here. And lye, before it turns into soap, long chemical process that is too much to explain in this video. Before it turns into soap, it's very, very caustic. So you have to be careful. So what I have there in that container is cucumber water that I fresh squeezed by hand myself, froze, and I'm adding the lye to the frozen cucumber water because it's part of soap making. Now, I know a lot of people want a video, and I will get one out there that shows you step by step how to do this, but I thought I would just give you a little sneak peek here on what I do to make this soap. So in this one, again, I'm using fresh cucumber that I pureed and then squeezed the liquid out of into ice cube trays to make the ice cubes. And this way, I'm able to incorporate actual cucumber into my soap, which is very good for your skin. There's a lot of benefits to cucumber and aloe. Now, you'll notice that the water turned brown, and that's because that lye solution gets very hot. Now, it only hit 116 there because I used frozen ice. If I used just regular distilled water, it would have got up to almost 300 degrees. So this stuff is dangerous. You need to do your homework before you even jump into doing creating soap. So now I have in that bucket that I'm pouring in, those are all my hard butters and oils that I melt down and add to olive oil. And in this case, my olive oil was infused with dried cucumber peel. So we get the added benefit of that part of the cucumber as well. Here is my aloe. And you saw there, I'm also using some French green clay. So this bar is going to be really, really nourishing. All of my bars have these types of things in them. It's just I use different ingredients per bar. So now I'm pouring a little bit of my olive oil mixture into the bowl with the aloe, and I'll puree that up really quick so that I can incorporate it into my oils. Again, if you're asking why am I showing all this, people have questions, so I'm just showing a little bit of the process. There is nothing like handmade or homemade soap. It leaves you feeling like you've just gone through a car wash. You got a nice coat of wax on you. Your skin's soft. The water repels off you like you're a windshield that has Rain-X on it. It's just, there's so many good benefits to it. I cannot express that enough. I'll pop up some of the benefits of cucumber and aloe on the screen now, just so you see just how, nourishing it can be. There's ingredients that help with aging and dryness and sensitive skin and all types of things. But anyway, moving on. At this point, I add in my French green clay, and then I will mix those ingredients together. And then I come back, and that's when I start to make soap. So you can consider this like prepping the oils, and then it doesn't turn into soap until you get that lye water solution mixed into it. So what the lye does is it goes through a chemical process called saponification. And essentially what that means in layman's terms is you're using the lye with the butters and the oils to create soap. It turns the shea butter and the coconut oil into soap. As you saw there, I use micas as colorants. Now, a fun fact is a lot of the micas that I use are able to be used in art, like resin and acrylic pouring, things like that. So yeah, that's a fun little fact. But anyway, now I'm putting that lye water solution that I made with the cucumber water in it. And this is when you start to blend it together and you start to create soap. So another fun fact is in soap making, we look for things called trace, just like with acrylic pouring. So there's a perfect consistency for soap making as well. I hate to tell you that, but yeah, when you drizzle the stick on the surface and you see a little light pattern, that's when you know it's ready to add the color in and start getting it into the mold. So I'm using this, I believe it's called Let Us Entertain You. It's a light green color to get rid of that ugly pea green, and a little bit of titanium dioxide to lighten it up. And also, once it cures, it's going to lighten up overnight as well. So there, I just put in my little bit of fragrance that I add. My soaps are not lightly scented and not strong. They're just right. So we got the fragrance added in, and now we will pour it into the mold, wait 24 hours, pop it out, and cut it. The fragrance is called Cucumber Aloe, and it is so, oh, it smells so good. I'll pop the fragrance notes onto the screen right now for you. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to give you a little sneak peek there and explain a few things. I took about 2.5 years to study soap making, to learn, all the benefits of different oils, which oils work well with what. You have to know what fragrances excel your recipe. For example, there's some fragrances where you add it to the batter and the soap starts to get thick really fast and you got to work really fast. So you have to be patient. You have to learn. And I can throw together a little tutorial for you guys, but again, you're going to have to do a lot of research if you want to get into something like this. It is, however, a great way to supplement your income if you get to where the fairs are and, sell bars there. And I love creating soap. I have to tell you, I love it so, so much. And you get to put on fancy little sparkles that are safe for your body, like this fairy dust that I just put on. And it's just fun to design. This is a simple bar for me because usually I do the high top frosted ones, but this is a simple one. So I'm sorry for the view right now. I had the camera flipped the wrong way, but you're getting the gist of what it looks like. It's just a plain green bar of soap that's oversized. My bars are all almost 8 ounces per bar. And it's just a really good bar of soap for your skin. In the description, I have a list of available scents and prices. So if you're interested, send me an email, artbytammy@yahoo.com. If you do, make sure you include your address so that I can give you an estimate for shipping and all of that, okay? And you can always check out my Saturday shorts to see what I'm up to in the soap world. I love you all. Make sure you come back next Sunday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to see how much further I can push this technique in acrylic pouring. I think you're going to love it. Until the next time, my friends, I love you all and happy pouring.